So, as usual, double-click this guy, and you'll see, your private sub pop up. Now, I've already made myself two variables. DIM, and I have a starting number, which I declared as 140. Why? Because Twitter generally restricts you to 140 characters. And I have a dim for my string length, which I have not defined. These will both come in handy later. These are going to be the only two variables we're going to put up here. Of course, you can name them something different. In fact, I recommend you do. I recommend you put your last name or your name somewhere in all your variables, just so it makes it easier to claim your work as your own and no one tries to steal it on you. Now, but here's the point that I'm going to make here. So, you notice how it says, private sub, end sub. Now, in all these other things we've had, when we have like my text or whatever, it's a button, it ends in a clicked. The handles are .clicked. You notice this guy is not clicked, it is text change. What that means is I can click this guy as much as I want, it's not going to do anything. Anything's only going to happen when text is changed. So, to test this out, because we do have ourselves a label here, let's actually use that label. We can always use a label as a testing ground, even if we don't wind up using it later. So I'll just do lbl text remaining dot text equals changed. There we go. So when I start this out, you see I'm clicking it, you hear my clicks, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening in this label. The second I hit any number or any key on the keyboard, though, the text is changed. You see how that works? That is generally the default variable or the default handle of a text box, but in case you have an underscore clicked, make sure that, you change it to a text change, same with your handle. And I'm just going to comment this out because I don't want that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two variables here. So obviously I have my starting number is 140, and I have my string length. Well, my string length isn't defined. I'm going to define it now. So I'm going to go with my string length equals. And then we're going to get into something a bit interesting. We're going to get into something called len. Now, len stands for length. Basically, this is going to count how many numbers are in a string. So I'm just going to go with parentheses and then go, well, what am I going to count? Well, I'm going to count the stuff that's in my text box because that's where we're getting the string, right? So, RTB my text dot text. And this should give me, or should count, how many numbers I have in my string. And to test this out, I'll use myself an lbl main text dot text equals, I don't know, let's say number of characters used, and put an and sign, and my string length. Why my string length? Because, my string length is equal to the length of my text box. So if I'm so it should return this number. So it should work that way. So when I hit start, once it feels like loading, now when I start typing something, see, number of characters used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I keep using spaces, see, it still counts it. Hit an enter button. Enter also counts. Enter, 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 enter. It's counting up how many times I've typed in a number. So, it's counting the total length of everything inside this text box. And obviously, if I wanted to, change that, to count downwards, characters remaining, I would just simply make this a math equation because I'm counting from this number, right? because that's my starting point. So I'll do starting number minus my string length. So now, if I were to start this out, see it says characters remaining, and now it's counting down. Now, of course, we do have ourselves a problem here, where once we keep going into negatives, we can just keep going and going and going and going, and it just has a negative number. We're going to move on to the next step in the next video, but you can see how this has happened, where we counted out the length of what we have inside our text box, how many characters we've used. And then all we did was we added this into an equation. And now we had to make sure these were both integers, because we can do an integer to an integer. You know, it's a number minus a number. You can do that. But you can see how you can have a string and an integer all in the same text box without causing an error. You just need to segment it. So here's my string in the red, inside the quotes, and something different. It'll work out like that.